Will we open the economy soon, and do we have a cure? But first, an important reminder not to eat fish cleaner. NBC News: man dies after ingesting chloroquine in an attempt to prevent coronavirus. The man and his wife thought the ingredient used to treat sick fish could prevent the disease. The couple unfortunately equated the chloroquine phosphate in their fish treatment without the medication, known by its generic name, hydroxychloroquine, that has recently been touted as a possible treatment for COVID-19. The toxic ingredient they consumed was not the medication form of chloroquine used to treat malaria in humans. Instead, it was an ingredient listed on a parasite treatment for fish. The man's wife told NBC News she'd watched television briefings during which President Trump talked about the potential benefits of chloroquine. Despite the contents of this story, this didn't stop NBC's Heidi Przybyla from going viral with about 30,000 shares, saying her husband is dead and she's in the ICU after ingesting chloroquine. "We saw Trump on TV every channel and all of his buddies and that this was safe," she said. Trump kept saying it was basically pretty much a cure. She implored Vaughn Hilliard, educate the people. So of course she's blaming this on President Trump. It took her about a few hours at the bottom of her massive thread to mention what I just said, that it was fish treatment, because leaving that out makes it look like it was President Trump's fault. As did George Conway. He said some advice from the woman in Arizona who, along with her husband, took chloroquine phosphate because Donald Trump said on TV it was a cure and it was safe. She's in an ICU. Her husband's dead. Yes, they're trying to blame President Trump for a couple who ingested fish cleaner or fish treatment after hearing Trump on TV say that chloroquine or hydroxychloroquine could possibly be a solution. So for the bold people and slow learners out there, do not take chloroquine, do not take hydroxychloroquine, do not eat fish cleaner, and please talk to a medical professional, aka your doctor, in order to get more instructions if you don't feel well. On that note, actor Daniel Dae Kim, who is in no way, shape, or form a Trump supporter or a Trump fan, seems to agree with President Trump that medical form of chloroquine prescribed by your doctor in the correct amount, not in fish cleaner, may be part of a legal drug combination that can help fight COVID-19.
Report that my progress has continued and I feel practically back to normal. I am lucky enough to be in the 80% of diagnosed cases that have not required hospitalization. That's an important statistic. As of now, I have no symptoms other than a little residual congestion, which should clear up very soon. One of the first questions that people asked me was, what medicines did you take? I need to say this in bold letters. Obviously, I am not a doctor, nor am I a lawyer, though I have played them on TV. I've always wanted to say that. So please don't take my word as that of a medical professional. I also don't know all the proper legalese to protect myself in these situations, so forgive me if I don't use all the right disclaimers, okay? That said, here is a treatment protocol I followed as prescribed by my amazing doctor. It was what's called a drug cocktail, which means it's a combination of different drugs. It consisted of Tamiflu, which is an antiviral, the antibiotic azithromycin, more commonly known as a Z-Pak, a glycopyrrolate inhaler that was used to ease breathing and the inflammation that's commonly associated with COVID. And here's what I consider to be the secret weapon: hydroxychloroquine. This is a common antimalarial drug that has been used with great success in Korea in their fight against the coronavirus. And yes, this is the drug that the president mentioned the other day. It is also the drug that Dr. Anthony Fauci cautioned us about. He said that evidence that the drug was promising is anecdotal, and that is correct. It means it wasn't studied and it's only based on personal accounts. Well, add my name to those personal accounts because I am feeling better. It's definitely true that using this drug for COVID-19 is considered off-label, which means that it's not approved to use specifically to fight this virus. So I won't say that it's a cure, and I won't say definitively that you should go out and use it. But what I will say is that I believe it was crucial to my recovery. I believe the entire mixture of drugs was crucial to my recovery.
A lot of these experts and a lot of these organizations that will claim they know everything and disagree with Trump when he eventually tries to reopen the economy so millions of people don't keep losing trillions of dollars, they'll pretend like they know it all. But let's look at some facts. This is the World Health Organization from January 14th, 2020. They tweeted, preliminary investigations conducted by the Chinese authorities have found no clear evidence of human-to-human transmission of the novel coronavirus identified in Wuhan, China. So they thought on January 14th that humans could not even give coronavirus to other humans. My, how the times have changed. Mark Levine, and a very vocal Trump hater, and the chair of New York City Council Health Committee, constantly just bashes Trump on his Twitter, but here's him on February 9th saying, in powerful show of defiance of coronavirus scare, huge crowds gathering in NYC's Chinatown for ceremony ahead of annual Lunar New Year parade. Chants of Be Strong Wuhan. If you are staying away, you are missing out. Man, I'm so not racist, I'm gonna tell people to gather in large crowds because of big nasty mean Trump's travel ban and his mean words, and I stand with the Chinese people. Good for you, but now most health organizers are saying don't go in crowds. I wonder how many people spread the virus then, considering New York is now the hotspot in America. But these people hated Trump's walls and his travel bans. They're racist, right? This is Nancy Pelosi on January 31st. The Trump admin's expansion of its un-American travel ban is a threat to our security, our values, and the rule of law, says Nancy Pelosi. Barring more than 350 million people from predominantly African countries from traveling to the U.S., this rule is discrimination disguised as policy. What else happened on January 31st that could have her tweeting? Well, of course, Trump shut down the Chinese travel, aka travel to China, but I don't think Chinese identity politics is very strong, so Nancy Pelosi had to wrap it in African identity politics to make people know how racist Trump really was with this China travel ban. Political slimeballs like Nancy Pelosi then go on to call Trump xenophobic, racist, and then flip the narrative and say he didn't close it down fast enough. He didn't do enough. He should have shut the border earlier. He should have shut more flights down, these type of liberals say months later, and nobody should believe them. So now what's their new plan? Injecting the Green New Deal into coronavirus relief funds, because never let a crisis go to waste. Let's push our political agenda, because now's the perfect time for their environmentalism, right? Slate says sending people back to work now will not save the economy. It will doom it. Starting the economy will doom the economy, but their Green New Deal politics will somehow magically save it, right? Why do they do this, and what does the Green New Deal have to do with the coronavirus crisis we're facing and the economic crisis we're facing, not just the health crisis? Well, if you want to understand the psychology behind their thinking, you have to understand the term nihilism, because that's what a lot of them are. They are nihilists. The rejection of all religious and moral principles in the belief that life is meaningless. I'm not saying all of them, but I did notice a trend. And the Green New Deal and coronavirus have a few similarities. The first connection that I've heard behind closed doors and even out in the public openly is that a lot of them want to kill the elderly, and they want the elderly to die because they realize that a lot of the elderly vote conservative, and they hate conservatives, so they think that the older generation is holding them back, and as soon as the elderly die, they can get their Green New Deal and their progressivism, and life will just be a utopia. So that's correct. A lot of these people want the elderly to die. They also think that with less population, that there will be less environmental damage. That's why you see a lot of these memes during the coronavirus from environmentalists openly bragging about how much better the world is now that people are dying, losing their jobs, losing everything, shutting down cities. A lot of them are more anti-human than they are even anti-pollution. So the connection is simple. Coronavirus, elderly people will die. They want elderly people to die, not only so conservative politics dies with them, but so they can fix the environment with a lower population. And also, both the Green New Deal and the coronavirus is a forced government shutdown of the economy. Unfortunately, that's kind of their thing. So a lot of them are enjoying this more than you'd ever know. They don't want it to end. And of course they want to inject their phony environmentalism into this stuff. And I want to say this real quick too before I play the next clip. I used to be like these mainstream environmentalists and a lot of these liberal activists, but I've since realized what liberal activism really is on a corporatist, elitist level. It's all population control. Environmentalism, I just explained how it is to you. Feminism, drive a wedge between the man and the woman, which means less babies and less traditional relationships. That's why they're always saying, look at these relationships. And the LGBT community, what happens when you're a man or a woman involved with the same sex? You can't create babies. So there's a huge overlap in this stuff, and at the high elite levels, They know exactly what they're doing, but of course on the lower tiered levels, there's a lot of useful morons who think that they're saving the world somehow. On that note, let's listen to Dr. Chad Deal from Tennessee have a very interesting thought process on what's going on.
I'm a very objective person. I'm not much of a conspiracy theorist. I like data. I like real objective facts. I like ones and zeros. But there's something a little funny about this coronavirus. And we talked about this yesterday, the fact that normally viruses affect the very young, the immunocompromised, the elderly. And you know, what's interesting is this one doesn't tend to affect the young much at all. In fact, these immune systems that are very immature, they don't have all the antibodies and all the other components that they need to fight the viruses, the bacteria, the funguses. But they're actually doing okay with this virus, almost like it's been modified to do this, okay? Maybe we're supposed to just believe it just happened by chance. But then also interesting about this virus is normally it takes, by the time your mucous membranes are already swelling up from the virus and we're getting all these symptoms of congestion and cold and cough, you know, that's when finally we have a high enough viral load that you can be contagious. This one, you're actually very contagious early. I think the gap is almost like 5 days, last I heard. So it's made for rapid spread. It's made to only affect people that are more disabled or immunocompromised and elderly. In other words, the people that are less likely to contribute to a society. The people that if you were concerned about population control that aren't really contributing as much, in fact, are more of a burden, if you would say, on the different parts of a healthcare system and other support systems. Also interesting, China's a very large country, okay? North to south, about 3,400 miles. About 3,250 miles east to west. And in this mammoth-sized country, right here sits Wuhan, where the outbreak was. Well, isn't it interesting that the actual Wuhan Institute, the virology, Virus Research Institute, is like right here. And right here, only 20 miles apart, is the fish market. So this mammoth country, there's the fish market where it was found the first time. There's the Institute for Virus Research. Boy, the chances are just incredible. Now, maybe, again, I'm not a bunch of conspiracy theorists and I'm just making too much of this, but I want to see what y'all think about this.
Let me know what you think in the comment sections. As always, I'm just trying to help people think a little bit. Don't eat fish cleaner. Please calm down your nihilism. And together we can figure out a solution to help the health of the world, but also not shut down the economy for months or years at a time. Because if we do that in America, we're going to ruin millions of lives. And millions of people are already losing their jobs, losing their small businesses, losing their salaries. This is not great even if it ends tomorrow. Yes, we can help our health, but absolutely, like Trump is starting to say and a lot of people, this shutdown's not going to last forever and we can't have it last forever. Let me know what you think. Have a beautiful day and I'll be back with more videos.